ngithi wayingalala emakhaya.
Asifuni.
Sifuna ukulala emakhaya. Oh lo.
Mic test. Get like Mic check. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, wayna.
Zala. If you look at piano, it's even worse.
This is I invented all that shit. Get Leclerc's fault. I blame Leclerc.
Okay, now I'll go for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to go feel it. It's all. Only thing I don't have is a lighter. Mo.
Do you also need scissors?
Nah. No, scissors. Definitely not scissors. Don't worry about that. I'm ready to go. Let me handle my lips. Can't let my Tonga people down.
That's another thing you must mention. People don't know you Tonga.
Yeah, man.
It's weird.
You must ask the girls.
Mara umutonga mara uhuleti in a household mobabuang Siswati.
Buddy? Oh, yeah. Well, isn't it... A lot of Tonga people, well, the true Tonga people come from Mozambique, isn't it? And that's next to Mpumalanga. So you'll find there's a big Tonga Shangan community. Pushback Ridge, Mpumalanga, and Swaziland also is next to Mpumalanga. So Mpumalanga is a mix of Tonga people and Swazi people. Really.
Action. Never get it. Utlamthala pil. Somthola phambili hayi sizuyahlupha.
Mina ngilonyasifasela mina still.
He's been good to go. Oh, finally, been waiting. Hi guys, welcome to ADN Lifestyle with Senati, brought to you by Audionomics Entertainment. Please like, share and subscribe. He's a busybody. He's yeah, Moeketsi baso mara mkhwabona.
Moeketsi? How many Moeketsis do you know, John?
I know a lot of Moeketsis. Why does Wikipedia say your other name is Moeketsi?
It's my surname.
Is it?
That's actually not my problem with my Wikipedia.
What?
My problem with my Wikipedia is... So the first girl that wrote my bio was so educated. Like,
okay.
She had this thing of describing, you know when they say your AKA is? She says, Sizwe Moeketsi, whose Monica is, or Monica reason.
Yeah.
And somehow people have added Monica as my name.
I was going to ask you, why when I'm Monica, like what's a lang
Monica is a synonym for an AKA.
Yeah. I read that and I was like, so leave like Sizwe Moeketsi.
If there's anybody
Monica
out there,
is your surname.
If there's anybody out there who can help me fix that.
Please.
I'm tired of people saying, hi, Sizwe, Kevin, Monica Moeketsi. Not Monica.
I'm like, what? I saw that and I'm like, how? As much as Ulumshangani.
Is your name Monica? No.
Is your
Diddy.
name Monica?
No Diddy.
We're not going to text Diddy. Did he do it?
He did it.
He did it. Otherwise,
how are you?
I'm good, man.
Didn't sound fun. Fasa
azishe.
Confused.
Confusing mina. Angisazi nesilungu number 1. Asiqale lapho. Angisazi isilungu.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm not controversial. Angazi indaba zabantu. So ngifuna sixoxe nje. Yeah? That's what they all say.
How we gonna sell this podcast if you ain't gonna How we gonna get these numbers without the drama?
I mean, the drama follows you if you know.
I don't want no drama.
I don't want no drama either.
I don't want no drama.
Sizwe Alakain. You know when I first saw you, I can't say I met you. I think I was 15. Go Sloam. Go that studio. Konje bayibitsang kneeling. What records?
Sabo Cuesta.
Yes.
Konje, what was the name of the place?
Konje ki in Kilibet. Yeah, with Bo Maxi and All of
And
those
you know, I've only ever been there twice in my life.
Is it?
Twice. I've only ever been there twice.
Were you also part of it?
Nah.
Because
not at
I
all.
saw you once, I think, and then I never saw you again
No.
until.
No. I wasn't really part of that that movement much because it was the end. It was the end of the hood, literally. Like
Yeah, no.
it was
Seven
It was
is far.
7. So I mean, go see nonali di cruiser ko 1, nonali di cruiser ko 7, nonali di cruiser ko 5. And then Baba Shahat, I don't know what they qualify as.
Bako 3.
Because go 3 you know.
Yeah.
But like Bokwesta, Libo Mangmang, Libo Takani, and all the boys, they were on the other side of the hood, you know. So you literally had to like physically like dedicate yourself to going to that side to be.
Yeah, and be there the whole time because I never it was far.
And in fact, I think the only reason I was there was because of Crystal, because around that time I had just met him, and I think it was a matter of me going there to go hang out and go work with his guys. You know, but generally, even him, I think we worked with a lot of the guys from Leondale. Like the guys in Leondale had studios before us. Leondale and Foslo, at least with my generation. I don't know about other people. But with my generation, if you needed to record music, you had to go to Leondale or Foslo. That's where all the bougie kids with the studios went. You know, that's why I ended up working with Stethoscope and Semitone, because they were in Leondale and Foslo. And
Which
then
was
I don't know how Questa managed to find a studio in Katlehong. Actually, that's actually a mystery to me.
Yeah, because those guys, I think they came from was it Merton or somewhere? They came from Merton and then they got that house.
Yeah, and they got that house.
And then
it was like a rental. It was like a trap house. That was a proper trap house. That was like the OG trap house. Like a bunch of niggas in there.
This is why my mom stopped me from going there.
How did you end up there?
Quest. I've always just known him. And then I knew Bo Max as well, Libo Ginger from Togoza. Yeah, that's how I groomed my voice.
But that was no place for a 16-year-old to be.
Well,
you said
I was
when you were 16.
Yeah, 15, 16, somewhere there.
What were you doing there?
I was listening to music. Made some joints as well, you know.
That's wild.
Tandi's internet. Usizo ukulele esprayed kuphi? Emfukeng.
Yeah.
Why do I think bomashongweni side?
Shongweni.
Yakufanele. Or Nthabi.
No offense to the Shongweni niggas.
Pela di tavern mola ko Nthabi. Ube Mfukeng.
I'm a Mfukeng boy. I'm a Mfukeng boy. The problem with a lot of people is, you know, my dad was quite a strict guy.
Okay.
You know? So I was never really a kid on the streets, you know what I mean? Like the only places you probably claim to see me is hip hop sessions, basketball courts, at some point maybe played a little bit of soccer, played a little bit of basketball. But I was just in spaces where I literally was there for recreational purposes.
Okay.
There was never really, you'd never really catch me kuri partying.
That's why all of us started today.
Ke sponsor.
I'm not making fun.
No, I'm serious. Not really, but even then, Nikilo Wanastrata, because also think about it. Like, okay, here I was doing jingles for Fresh at 16, right? YFM was in Rosebank. How did I get there? So yes, Kingwana Strata, but me, Kingwana Oratang Strata is different. Not like
it's a product.
It wasn't really, yeah. Like I was really like, I was trying to get closer to this thing, you know. I've always been trying to get closer to this thing, trying to figure out ways to get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And And unfortunately, Vele, there's no way of becoming a part of this particular industry or this particular genre or this particular game without being in the streets, because it's being ran by people that don't live in Katlehong. You know, I think Rude Boy Paul was probably the closest guy we ever had to YFM. And dog, when I was in high school, that guy was like eons ahead of me. You know what I mean? So for me to get to, you know, a certain level of I'm going to be a rapper, I had to go and fish for this thing, dog. And I fished at a very young age. I was actually, in fact, my dad would probably say the opposite, like nane ke lengwa la strata. Just sure, you know. And also because my dad was strict, like you have to remember, like I had curfew, so 6 o'clock I was already in the house. You know, I was actually having this conversation with somebody. I said, you know, it's one wouldn't tell, but like those curfews actually helped me a lot, because if by 6 o'clock you're at home, nah, you're in the house. They even had a silly rule like 6 I'm light on. That's how they know I'm in the house. If they come home and the lights are not on, then they know.
Yeah.
Mind you, we're talking about people when I let's pass a shop in the fucking yard.
Like so like uzobamela bayehle phansi
then good. Now I'm in the house, so I didn't get to be in the streets. I didn't get to, you know, experiment with a lot of things like you know, all my friends would be out until like 8 p.m. You know, started experimenting.
Seeing things that you can't see when I'm 6 p.m.
So the smoking started there, you know, experimenting with drugs. I even had a friend who confessed the other day to say, yo, dog, like, we used to hide smoking, doing drugs from you when we were all in high school. I'm like, what? They were like, yeah, dog, because you were always in the house, like you were like the goody two shoes.
And that's fun. And
then we don't want to expose you to that shit, you know what I mean? And it was like, wow, that's wild, because I used to always be jealous. I used to always go home like sad and heartbroken.
Yeah.
You know? So that shit like got me. Yes, it got me in the house, but whenever I got a chance where I was in the streets, it would be worse than just being in the streets just to smoke weed or start experimenting with sex with girls or whatever. No. It was me bunking school to go to YFM in my school blazer and convincing DJ Fresh if I can do his jingles. And now it's 10 o'clock in the morning and his show's done and I'm in the middle of the north and my parents think I'm in them at school and like, what the fuck? Do you understand?
Yeah.
It kind of just sounds slightly worse. Like, why is there a 16-year-old in the middle of northern Johannesburg coming from the east Johannesburg? You know, for the sake of raps, for the sake of just trying to see if can I be like Bow Wow.
Bow Wow was Moshe.
I wanted to be like Bow Wow, dog. I want to lie in Moshe. I wanted to make it like as a young kid, like Bow Wow. That's why I started so early.
What high school did you go to?
Germiston High, the best high school in the East. What better high school you know? Which high school did you go to? Not from Lani.
No. I went to Supatsela High. Bedford View High School, that's what we used to call it. Bedford View.
Really?
Mara Vele, you look like the...
No one look corrupt to solve.
I get corrupt, man.
Look corrupt to solve.
I get corrupt, nah. Very nice person.
That
very
girl
nice.
corrupted me.
No, Germiston High Valley produces a lot of snobbish.
Like who?
Guys like yourself.
Nah, dog. Could never. We ain't really got it like that.
You do. It's either Nelala basketball or, you know, le marepa kaofela lona. Didn't Senzo also go to Germiston High?
No.
Wile Pumlan Senzo?
Did
you not go for like a year or something? Because Lena, he was school hopping. I can't remember what he said.
Did you go to Pumlani? What's the Pumlani?
I know the early stages.
Yeah,
I'm not doing Germiston High, but anyway.
Yeah, Germiston High, the best school in the world.
Would you take your kids there?
Definitely not.
Why not? Why not?
Because it's too far.
That's nje edom.
Because it's too far.
Yeah, ngoba usahlali ngapha. Kukude la hlala khona.
Yeah,
Hlala kuVukiland.
Yeah, bro. But I definitely...
Usikashisa sofa tsaka ke ukuphi?
Sorry.
I thought to shisa meruru ya how.
Germiston High, that's where I went.
So the rap thing, besides Bawa, was it also influenced by your school? Maybe the environment you were in?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I can't say Kukasi, Analum Bramang Man, inspired I can rap because...
Funny enough, there was at the time. Because I was... okay, so for me, it actually starts in primary. I went to actually quite a good primary school, a young semi-private. I don't know how my dad hustled.
Saint what?
No, not
Saint
not
who?
even a saint. Eden Glen Primary.
Oh,
Eden Glen Primary is in Eden Glen. You know, and Eden Glen is quite a
An Eden Glenny place. Yeah.
You know, I don't know how my dad managed that, but anyway, you would probably consider me as the poor kid in the semi-private. Yeah. So when everybody's getting picked up in BA or whatever, my dad pulled up in a Foxy. You know what I mean?
That's fine, eh?
A little bit of smoke here and there. You know what I mean? But I was there. So there was always like a couple of Andrews and Byrons, you know, who had Walkmans and, you know what I mean, put me on. And actually, because go here soon on a shop and I also managed to buy myself a Walkman, you know. But the music, I got it from the Byrons and Andrews.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The Byrons and Andrews always put us on. You know, and they were already into like rock and pop. Somewhere in the mix of rock and pop, you started getting introduced to like your Eminem. You know, you started getting introduced to your Busta Rhymes, and you start getting introduced to your Bow Wows.
Lil Bow Wow.
Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. Those were like really commercial rappers that white people were also listening to. You know,
they were.
And from that, kind of like got into the sound. Obviously, because I'm from Ghostwriting, Kwaito's already standard. I'm already exposed to like your TKZs. I'm already exposed to your Bongo Muffins and all those guys. But when it came to the Byrons and Andrews, they were introducing me to America. You know, you know when I remember the Michael Jackson concert happened in '95 or something here in South Africa, '95 and '96. You know, a lot of Byrons and Andrews went there. You know, so when they come back with information.
Yes.
You know, and some CDs were being sold there. So from that exchange, I kind of like got introduced to hip hop like that. You know.
Okay. Makes sense.
Kokasi though, there's two individuals that played a big role, maybe even three. But let me start with the two.
Yeah.
The first one was there was a guy called Wiseman. Rest in peace. He died. Passed away a couple of years ago. Wiseman. He was a pastor's kid. His dad was a pastor. Okay. But he somehow managed to get a Source magazine subscription. Somehow. I like your face. Both of you looked.
What?
He somehow managed to get a Source magazine subscription. Now with the Source magazine, I was able to read up about all these rappers and the rap culture and the things that were happening in the rap music and the rap industry. And he would get some of these tapes and he would get some of these albums, you know, and that's how he would like, you know, tape or record some CDs onto tape for me so I can play them in my Walkman. Like that Walkman changed my life actually, because that's where I was able to take stuff from people. And ke vaka di takes.
Yeah.
Ke kena ko Eden Glen, ke tsoko Spruit. So something namela taxi to cab to Germiston, from Germiston to Eden Glen. Go through school, after school, hang out with the boys, then in the taxi, coming back home, taxi to Germiston to, I'm just listening to music as I'm commuting every single day. One day it's Kwaito, next day it's hip hop, next day it's whatever, depending on what Wise and some of my other friends who grew up with a little bit of money in the hood, very big house home. So Wiseman was my first plug. Then my second plug was this cousin of mine, Mujalef. I'm sure you've heard of him in every one of my interviews, because he's the problem here. Mujalefa was the problematic child that got sent to my dad, because my dad is the guy you get sent to when you're a problematic child. But this guy comes with these Chuck Taylors, basketball, some Dickies, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why is this guy looking like Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, he looks American. Yeah. God damn.
This guy was into basketball, he was into poetry, he was into hip hop. Showed up with a box full of tapes, like West Coast, East Coast, like the hip hop game, you know. What do I have? The Walkman.
Yeah.
So that's my second plug now in the hood.
Yeah.
On top of Byron and Andrew, right? Dog, I'm talking. I must have been like 11. I know this because I started rapping when I knew how to start writing, because I practiced writing by learning how to rap. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
And what pushed this to happen was because when you bought CDs back in the day, they came out with the lyrics. So I was looking at this shit like, oh, this is how Busta Rhymes writes his rhymes. Because they would show you where the verse ends, where the line ends, where the chorus comes in. And now I'm listening to him saying, getting money illegally, Henny, huh? Now I'm looking, okay, he did that, so he put a stroke there. Okay, so that's one bar. Nini, huh? Okay, so that's 2 bars. Okay, so this is 2 bars. When you write a verse, you need 16 of these things. Because traditionally, after a while, you start listening to like Method Man and Redman. You start listening to Eminem. You start realizing, okay, fine, I have to do 16 of these things. I have to do 8 of this chorus thing. Then I have to do another 16 of these things. Sometimes I can do 24 of these things, 8 of these things, you know? So I'm in like school learning with these tapes. And eventually when you start going through enough of this, you start figuring out, okay, so there's patterns. Sometimes you can rhyme halfway. Sometimes you can rhyme in the middle. Sometimes you can rhyme after like 3 bars. You know, I also feel like Eminem.
Yeah.
Where you now have to rhyme the whole sentence.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I just feel like a father. I hate to be bothered. No, like, dog, there was a lot. Whole, that's why you would never find me or see me in any of these streets.
Because you didn't have time.
When I get home, I have to be stuck in the house. You know, I'm a boy. The most I can do is switch on the lights and wait for the dishes.
Yeah.
So if I'm not doing this homework thing, which I wasn't really doing much of, I wasn't doing my homework. School was boring for me. School was like, I'm learning more from Method Man and Redman than these guys. You know, I mean, sometimes some of the scientific stuff that they were talking about, I'd hear it in like Jakai the Motormouth's raps or copyright. You know, cannabis. Cannabis was throwing numbers around and theories around. KRS-One. You know, I was being introduced to these guys. So when I get to school, I'm like,
boring.
I'm listening to music going to school. I'm listening to music coming back from school. Now, I'm primary. I haven't gone to high school. I also feel to go to Jamestown High. Jamestown High, eh? Khwanyiwa he. Mo kena ke kopana le cipher. Wait a minute.
Welcome,
this
my boy.
thing I do where I'm writing. You guys do it like now.
Yeah.
You're making this stuff up now. Like, did you did this guy rap about this girl's hair right now? You thought about this now? High school was that, you know? But fair enough, this is probably why a lot of people only probably saw me at like a hip-hop gig or basketball court or some...
It has to be some hip-hop gig. Anything that's got to do with hip-hop.
Very few times what was the place? Hakat.
Or Haruni.
Ronnie's. Also, when we were in high school, that was the thing, you know what I mean?
Yes, it was.
If Nirsa Kwalidi Kolo, like Skizama Pen last day of school, or New Year's, or the 16. The 16 were a big thing. Also with Germiston High, Germiston Lake.
Germiston Lake, yeah.
We always end up in Germiston Lake. If it wasn't for those obvious days, you would never. I was not that kid. I really was not.
And also groovy.
Nah, I was not that kid.
Even after high school.
Groove ended up being my work, honestly.
I get it. But like ONG.
Funny enough, after
like
high school,
hurricanes. Look.
After high school, I took a gap year.
Okay.
Because by then I had met I was like DJ Fresh was my friend when I was
yes. Okay, repeat it.
you know what I mean? So by then I'd somewhat kind of like had a foot in the industry. I was just like a little brat or a little kid that did these jingles for Fresh, because you have to understand I was dissing people in these jingles, you know.
Do you remember one?
I had a name for myself. Ooh, no. But for the exercise of this interview, I implore you to go to Fresh's SoundCloud. He has them all up. They all up there, bruh. I cringe every time I hear them. Like, what the fuck was wrong with this kid? You understand?
And
So,
like,
I'm 17.
What were you thinking?
I'm 17. Why am I commenting? But I'm commenting on society, on social things, because that's what jingles were.
Yeah.
You had to take something that had just happened recently and flip it into a punchline that has to do with the show, you know? And Fresh was pushing that because that came from American radio. American radio was big on that thing, and Fresh was doing radio like Americans. He wasn't doing radio like the traditional people. Like, he was like Jingles. Imagine, dog, I'm on YFM dissing guys at Metro. Like, it's so,
always been a problem.
But it's a problematic thing, right? Because it's like, who the fuck is this kid?
Yeah.
So at some point, when we, in my gap year, because I'm busy rolling around with people with studios, I was rolling around with Battle Cats and Optical Illusion and Zubz and Proverb and H2O. Like, that was my gap year. Like, I met these people when I was in high school through my internship for sound engineering. And I did some jingles. They like me. I can rap. I'm just going to roll with these guys and just see what the game looks like from their perspective.
Yeah.
Right? Rolling around with these guys. I'm partying because every gig they go to is a party.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing. On the other hand, one of my best friends, closest friends, Instro.
Yeah.
Instro's sister is Helen Harimbi. Helen Harimbi was an entertainment journalist at the time. She was writing entertainment journalism for, was it Sowetan Citizen? I don't remember. I could be wrong. But Instro has a license and he's the one driving the car. He has to take Helen to all these parties. Me and Instro always making music. So I'm like this underground commercial rapper. I mean, underground rapper who's always in a commercial space, because we get invited to like generations parties. We get invited to like what was that thing? Smirnoff something what. Like every party that was in the city. Parties you used to read about on Shush.
Now you are there.
I'm 19 years old.
Yeah, you are within.
There, like, yo, I don't need to be here. I shouldn't be here. I'm not.
But
even,
hey.
Yeah, like, I'm not in the game like that. Yeah.
Yeah, mara strategy strategy in this way.
Yeah,
not the other way that you and Jandy always say. How?
What way do they?
Hey. Someone strategy. I am just saying. Hi, Suga. So you are within, you are there with all these parties.
Dude, I actually got to see the game before I got in the game nicely, to be honest with you. I had a good 3 years. Because when I think about when we dropped audio 3D, that was 2012.
Is it?
2012. 2012 was how many years ago? 12 years ago? I was 25.
4 or 5.
I was 25. Between me being 25 and 19, I was part-time going to parties with Helen and Instro, going into studios with Battle Cats, Zubz, Proverb, Tumi, HHP, H2O, and you know, I was doing that, and also I studied.
Okay.
I studied advertising.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
when I turned 20, one of the guys from Optical Illusion Logic plugged me to get an internship at Vega. So I then got an internship to study advertising at Vega for free. I actually got paid to study this thing. Yeah, they used to give us. They did this thing where, if you are a poor child or underprivileged from South Africa, privileged backgrounds, the advertising industry had taken 25% of their profits. A few agencies put it in a pot, use that money to get some black kids into advertising, because advertising at the time wasn't black enough or inaccurate when it comes to black people. You know, it was very cheesy, very stereotypical.
Yeah.
So they were trying to get more black kids into advertising. Logic plugged me to that.
Okay.
You know, so 20 years old, I'm studying advertising in Vega, Santin. I'm also Proverb's hype man. By this time, I'm on the road just hyping him up. And Mr. Nthabi's hype man. And I'm doing my own shows and I'm making music, and so I was kind of getting into it. So I could safely say that was probably like my grooming.
Yeah.
You know, between 20 and 25, I was literally just running around the industry. You know, on one side, I'm known as a really good like rapper on the streets, on the hype magazines and wherever. And on the other side, it's like I'm in the advertising industry.
So how do you introduce yourself to the world as Reason? Was it still during the...
I quit advertising.
Okay.
I got retrenched, actually.
How old were you? How about retrenchment?
When I was retrenched, I was 20... So here's what happened. I think when I was like 24, 25, the agency that I was working with lost a client, a very big client.
Oh,
so they had to cut. So when they were cutting, there was two options. You either take the money or get moved to another agency. Because the agency was part of a group. So you didn't really have to get retrenched. You could just get moved and given another job.
Okay. And you were like,
I said, nah, I want to rap. Because by this time, I'd been behind the scenes long enough to have figured out my master plan and what I want to do. So then I take the money and then I pay for this project. I pay for my project, The Reasoning, which I did with Battle Cat and Instro. And I release it. And then fuck all happens.
like zilch.
Yeah, I think I dropped it in November. You know, nothing really happens. You know, didn't really manage to get the radio song I thought I would get. You know, it's just I miss. But what happens is this album lands on Tumi's lap.
Okay.
So Tumi calls me like around Feb on some I heard this demo of yours. He said, yeah, that's what he called it.
Ouch.
Yeah, he said, I heard this demo of yours. I think it's a fucking amazing demo, and I think now you're ready to make an album.
Yo. Ouch. Ow.
I said, all right, let's go, you know. So now I'm writing out my careers in advertising because I'm phasing out my retrenchment. But every day after work, I go to Motif and I record a song. So Tumi did this thing where when we did Audio 3D, he put together. He said, "I'm gonna go find you the beats, and I'm gonna find you the producers that I think you should be working with. I'm gonna find you the features that I think you should be working with, and I'm gonna create the project that I think you should be doing." Because his whole thing is, I think you just know how to rap, and you're close to knowing how to make a song, but like you don't know how to make
an entire
commercial song. And I think he was so good at it when he did it with me, you know, now in hindsight, as a songwriter, I understand what he was going through. He was then creating the project that he couldn't create, because when you were Tumi at the time, he was Tumi Mulikani. He was Tumi who wrote 1976, Maria, and you know, so I feel like there was a certain part of the game that he couldn't go into as Tumi. It's a part of the game that he's managed to get into now as Stogie T.
Yeah. But
at
not
that
as
time,
Tumi.
he couldn't go in there as Tumi. And when he found me, he was like, yo, you look like you're trying to get into that part of the game. Let me produce the album. So he literally put together this project. He found me the beats. He's the one that called 37 MPH and said, yo, play me beats. I think you're the guy that's going to produce the right beats. Very commercial, but very, you know, hip-hop, if you want to call it that, you know? Audio 3D was... Because the idea was to kind of like have an album like a Lupe Fiasco and like a Common Sense type of album, you know, the Common at that time, you know. Common, fine with the raps, but the Lupe was super commercial, and he was like the J. Cole before J. Cole, you know what I mean? He was like the Big Sean before Big Sean. He was like the Kendrick before Kendrick. He was like all these guys before they showed up. He was a young boy who came with a new energy around skateboarding and being clean, and he was just like, fuck commercial and fuck, you know. So we wanted to do that. This guy says, let's get 37 MPH. And he says, I know the features, I'll get all the guys, and he'll put together this project for me. All I had to do after work,
let's go in.
Go to Motif, record. I remember the schedule. I used to knock off at 5. I used to get to the studio, record. After recording, take the beats for tomorrow's session, get home, write, sleep, wake up, go to work, get to work, sometimes finish writing at work, knock off at work, go to the studio, record,
another beat.
Take the beats for tomorrow.
Lord.
And I get a beat, I mean like two at a time.
Not just one.
Yo, I think we killed that album in like 3 weeks. No lie. Like just going back to back. Instro even knew he had to drive me to Leondale. I was living in Leondale at the time. He had to drive me to Leondale, then drive home. Kabuma 6
every day.
Sing every day, yeah. I get to him, Kabuma 6, see you.
What's up, my cousin?
I record, push. Tumi, we were in Tumi's house.
He can fucking sleep whenever he wants.
That nigga was coming from the lounge.
Yeah.
He was walking out of the lounge. I mean, his house was also down the road. He had another house down the road, but he was always driving in. He'd be in there in the studio. We produced the songs. I think the first 2 weeks was just me. I was going, and then the last week or last 2 weeks or whatever was just the features, adding the finishing touches and all that stuff. But literally, that was my life for 2 weeks straight. Knock off at work, go record my album, go home, write, then sleep.
Yeah, productive,
I didn't feel it. That's why that song was so. That's why No Sleep was such a thing. It was like we were priding ourselves in not sleeping.
Had
like
no sleep at all. Like for real. Not just saying.
Being span. You know, let's push his span. The logic around then was really, really like work. So that probably Audio 3D is actually the first official introduction
to Reason
to the industry as Reason. You know, before then I think it was just a hip hop thing. In the hip hop circle, everybody knew who that nigga was. You know, in the streets, sure, in the culture, sure, but in the industry, I was just in the back. You know, I was watching everything from the back. A lot of my friends were in the industry. You know, and also I also had another window seat, which was advertising. You know, being in advertising then introduces you to the side of the luries and media, and you know, now I'm sitting with artists and I'm watching them being negotiated with on how much they're gonna charge
now you
to get on this billboard.
You also gotta be an artist,
really?
and now you know, this is how it works. Now you're like, nothing's a figure.
And that's probably why now I'm big on pushing the identity of the culture specialist. I think there's a job in the industry that a lot of us aren't aware we have, where because you're a part of the of culture in one way or another, or you're associated with culture in one way or another, and in your professional space you're associated with another industry, say maybe film or whatever, you kind of have an opportunity to bridge a gap. Because me coming from advertising and me being in hip hop, is I'm able to communicate or to help commerce understand how to sell products with this thing. I'm the one that can tell you that telling us that Omo can wash 1,000 nappies a day is not really the way to go, bro. But I mean, if you washed 1,000 sneakers a day,
yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you the culture loves sneakers.
Yeah.
And you want to wash some shit. Like,
wash them sneakers.
In my world, I present those solutions to a lot of clients to say, you can sell your products through the culture, but you just really need to understand how the culture operates.
Works, yeah.
And I think I can help a lot of these guys figure it out. We do that every now and then. You know what I mean? And that's really where it comes from. Advertising on the one end, music on the one end, it all happened at the same time. The reason brand really came up, into the industry at the same time.
MK.
Interesting. So I just want to touch on this. After your demo.
Ouch.
Fuck.
Now, how does it feel?
I would lie, he was right.
Yeah. I don't know that album.
When I listen to that album, I'm like, yo, he was right.
So how does it feel when Do It Like I Can hits and lands and because that blew.
Yo, I'm gonna put that tongue. Where did I put my lip stuff? Hey, Do It Like I Can is big, man. It's probably that's probably one of the moments where I may have actually had to turn to T and be like, you were right. Because even that song, I won't lie, man, like Tumi cooked that song out of me hard. Because firstly, when we got the beat, there's a part of the song that's very bouncy that goes goom, goom, goom. At the time, hip hop had a very clubby, like the model type of beat esque. Also 37 mph. Yeah, he was a very bouncy type of producer. You gotta remember, I was always like associated or considered to be an underground rapper, So the beat was very bouncy. And then I remember saying to 37 mph, yo man, why don't you come up with another drum pattern? Or there was a section that was the and I said, dog, why don't you just take this beat and make it that instead of this thing? Because he had like 80% of this bouncy goo 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 goo,
okay. Which was everywhere.
Yes. I said, no, let's do it the other way around. Fill it up with this old school sample, this classic. Let me jump on it like that. And honestly, when he did send it to us like that, it was like, oh shit, this is better actually. Even he was like, ooh, I like this. Fine. Now Tumi calls me into a room. He says, reason, this beat itself is already a hit. That was the reality of that song.
Yeah.
The beat was a hit. It was a hit when I found it. It's like when you wake up and you're like, yo, like it's done.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is rap. Oh, this is easy. That was the day I realized simplicity is harder than being complicated. Being very simple is very hard, because here they say it's already done. The only thing that can ruin this
is the rap.
Is you.
Yo.
Like for real.
Yeah.
The hook is already there. It's so unfortunate that you can't do it. It's the sample. The beat literally came like that. It came with the only spaces that were there was for the raps. So he's saying, now we have to cook and create things that are gonna sit on this song that are gonna make sure that you don't fuck up the fact that it's a hit.
God damn.
You know what I mean? If your whole life you're the one who's been responsible to shy hit what type beats somewhat.
Yeah.
And then when you have to think of no, this time it's like no, this song is done, bro. We have to put you on it, and you have to make sure that you don't ruin it because it's already a hit. Okay. Dumiati, okay. Here's a reference. Biggie. Go listen to Biggie. You know, this is a Biggie type of joint because what we realized about Biggie was a Biggie verse or a Biggie song has the right amount of swag, it has the right amount of thug, it has the right amount of flaws, it has the right amount of aggression, it has the right amount of, you know, soft and somberness, you know. As of late, we realized it had some other shit in it.
We'll drink to that.
But anyway, despite all that, when you're calculating a rap verse in that era of hip-hop, I mean, I was rapping in English as well, you know. Well, many would say, Ndwana, if you really want to pop, like, go look at Pro Kid, go look at Double HP, go look at Flaba, go look at Squatter Camp, go look at JR, go look at... In fact, even AKA had some
Vernac,
Zulu Vernac rappers on his track, you know. I'm going about this the English way, you know, do it like I can is English. So he said, American, American El Create. So B.I.G. was the reference.
Yeah.
That's why the song starts with, it was all a dream. The last verse starts with, it was all a dream, and now we're on the Hype magazine. You know, with him saying, it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. That verse, by the way. So anyway, I go and write the song. After writing, he keeps the first verse. He deletes the second and third verse. He said the second and third verse, nah, go rewrite. I go home. I rewrite the second and third verse. After recording the second and third verse, he says the second verse is fine.
No, go rewrite the third verse.
Go rewrite the third verse.
God damn.
I guess I'll go to the verse. Give a velike straight go Biggie velike. It was all like I needed a wave. I needed to catch a wave because the thing about it is he kept saying to me, dog, I'm putting you up against AKA, I'm putting you up against Kulichana, I'm putting you up against motherfucking Dalez. I'm putting you up against
Mags.
You from the East, dog. You understand? I'm putting you up against Questa.
Yeah.
Questa is fucking shit up right now.
Yeah.
I need you to come out the gates clean. I need no mistakes.
Give me something.
Dog, just don't be too much of a rapper, but don't be too less of a rapper. Don't be too much of a commercial artist. Don't be too less. Dog, you don't understand how hard I fought for that song, guys. And let me tell you, that was the last song on that album. That album was already done. That album was done, and all Tumi cared about is, I need my first single. There is no first single. He listened to the whole album. He said, like, there's no first single. That's how passionate he was about this project. That's how calculated he was about this project. We don't have a first single. And when he found that beat, he cooked. I remember when it landed on me, it was New Year's. We were in Maboneng, early stages of Maboneng. One of his friends, who's an artist, a painter, whatever, was having a party in one of those lofts. We were all in the house, and it was nice. What a fucking great day, you know. We were there with the wives and drinking and chilling. And Tumi back then only smoked weed on New Year's.
Oh, okay.
Because he never smoked weed at all.
Okay.
He never smoked at all. That was Tumi. He never smoked at all. But
on
every New Year's he smoked, and we were together at New Year's, and I smoked weed all the time. So this was the New Year's, and I promised him his New Year blunt. I brought his New Year blunt. we're chilling, and I think we were on the balcony, we're looking at the city, we're busy chilling there, and now we're talking about the song.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain to me, like, dog,
I need you to
I need you
Yeah.
to get this one right, dog. Like, I'm really not being an asshole.
Oh.
You know, because Linda, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I've done this song 3 times.
Yeah.
He says, dog, and really, like, the formula's there. I've given you everything you need. Biggie, just follow Biggie. And I don't know what happened. Immediately, as he says that song came on. You know, it comes on in the background. So we on the balcony just vibing to this shit. Like, listen to this nigga, dog. Like, he's just telling these niggas shit, but in the nicest way possible, so that you never forget it. Ekurhuleni, you must rap along to the way this nigga's telling you shit. And he's like, how come, dog, this is a mystery to you, dog? Like, oh, like, listen to this nigga. And if I get to give my mates OT, yo, B.I.G. You know, a lot of people would never understand why, but I would always say I'm a B.I.G. fan more than I'm a Tupac fan. When they say Tupac versus B.I.G., I always say B.I.G. You know, I never really got into the Tupac thing, you know. But that day, I actually calculated and I unpack a verse like, are you out here about trauma? It's about retina, it's about it. So that's how we eventually got to that one verse. After that New Year's, I went home and I wrote that verse, and I sat with it for like a week. I kept having
because like you don't want it to come back. And be like, delete, no.
Yo,
another one.
For me to get to from the same hood Uskarango Beze was, like, that guy was, he was, because also he kept asking me, but what's cool about you? Because that's what the song is about. Like, what's cool about you? Like, what makes you better than Les?
Yeah, that no one can do it like you.
Yes. I get it, that's what the hook says. It's so unfortunate you can't do it like I can.
Exactly.
What, bro?
What are you talking about?
What do I want to do like you? What does Les want to do like you? What does Cooley want to do like you? What does, you understand?
Sheesh, yeah.
That's also like a shit. What is cool about
Oh.
I'm from the same hood as Karagomesa was, nigga. Fuck you. You don't know that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was hard. That was my first big task, I guess, in the game. Look at the posisi. I'm gonna embarrass him and answer them.
Pendul, loudspeak.
Omo loudspeaker, re-shooter podcast, Bua Komamet. Or interact. I'll follow up back. Sharp.
Sheesh, that's crazy. The pressure.
That was some good
Get a
pressure.
refill.
Thank you. No mahi savana nyana.
Something of a sort. Yeah.
Probably that was the day I learned how to write a hit song. I think before that I kind of like was doing them, like I kind of worked it out. I kind of had listened to enough music to know, okay, you need a catchy hook, you need, you need a flow, you need a bounce, but like there we were literally creating a song that was purely designed for radio. We were literally, I guess in today's era, it's like creating a song for TikTok.
Yeah, definitely.
For us,
if it doesn't trend on TikTok,
if it doesn't trend on TikTok,
what you doing?
You know what I mean? We had that problem too. Like, if it doesn't pop on radio, then what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was my first.
I'm sure it took so much of you.
But to answer his question,
yeah.
Now that I've given you that story, when I heard that song blow up after going through all that shit, that's where I felt like, oh shit, that was fun. It's like when you go back and you're like, wow, like, Joe, because that song also.
This is why I did it.
Fanaka, we broke a lot of barriers. We really broke the whole English rapper thing. The whole to get onto radio, you needed some vernac. To go onto radio, you needed a pop song. That beat was old school. You know what I mean? And the cheat code, I guess, that radio that we kind of beat was that I was kind of happy with is they actually thought I was American.
Oh, wow.
When I came in, a lot of people thought I was American, and until they started deciphering, that I
Kanta,
said,
Shangani
I'm
vibes.
from the same hood as Karangobezo was like, who's what a racist.
And also, that was one of the first few songs that crossed over to then 5
White radio.
5
Easily.
FM.
So after going through all that shit, you know, we were walking through the city like,
Mama made it.
you niggas know how to cross over to the black station.
Yeah.
But we know how to cross over to
To
the
white
white stations. We
Nigga,
figured out
who does that?
how to cross over to the white stations. That's where,
Who does that?
I won't lie, that was a great problem to experience in my life.
I can imagine. And after that, was that the only project you did with Tumi?
No, we dropped. Oh, that was the one project that he was fully involved in.
Yeah, 100%.
I think when he was producing it, because after that he was working on his project when I was working on my project, which was audio high definition. I think that's when he was working on that King album. What's it called? I forgot the name of that album. That white cover. Anyway, yeah. So the second album I actually produced it with PH. The second album I produced with PH, Raw X and Instro. They were pretty much the guys that were helping me piece it together. And then, but Tumi released the project because I was still signed to Motif at the time. Outside of that, it was just features and singles, really.
Is it?
Yeah, it was just features and singles. Because I think also after I was also trying to now find my own way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think that first project was just like, so this is how you put together a commercial album.
Yeah.
Now that we've put together a commercial album, let me extend from here. You know, then comes your No Sleep and your Bump the Cheese Ups and your Two Cup Shakors and your Glasses to the Ceiling. Yeah, you know.
Make it.
But yeah, on that second one,
Audio HD.
That's the one that has. This is just the Celts. That's the one that had endurance.
Yes.
How did that song come up? Because you've got WHP on the hook, but no verses.
Yeah. Actually, you picked the ones with the long story. You fucking picked the ones with the long story. And what's the time? Relate.
We'll come back for part 2.
So, well, the problem with endurance actually is it starts with the beat. First, the endurance starts with the beat. Who was I there to see? There's some flats by Wits, right? Actually, I used to go there and buy weed by those apartments. Then the guy I used to buy weed from said, "Yo, man, there's this kid upstairs who makes beats. You really need to pull up." He said there's these kids upstairs that make music, and I'm managing them. Pull up upstairs and come say hi sometime, you know. When I got there, I forgot the rapper kid's name, but the producer kid's name was Gemini Major.
Okay.
Gemini was from Durban, and he was at these apartments in Joburg illegally as a student. You know. They play me this song that these kids made, and that beat on endurance is that beat. But this kid is flossing, and he's jiggy, and he's what, you know. So they were asking me for a feature actually on the song. After they played the song, I said to this kid, "Yo, man, if you give me this beat, I'll give you a verse for another song.
Yeah.
But I feel like what you're doing on this beat is not what needs to be done on this beat.
You're not doing justice to the beat.
You need to be doing something else on this beat. So please, can I have this beat?" Right?
And I'll give you a verse.
Yeah, and back then, all Gemini Major wanted, his biggest dream was to work with Bongani Fasi. By the way, he knows the story very well. Because when I asked him, he was like, "Yo, do you think you can plug me to Bongani Fasi?" I'm like, "Nah, nigga." At the time, I'm like, so in my head, I'm like, "Nigga, I'm reason, nigga. What the fuck?
Telling me about
That nigga ain't gonna do shit for you, nigga. I'm the guy right now, nigga. What the fuck?" Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So I say, "Yo, give me this beat." Ilurevele, now when I heard the beat, I was hearing a very seer song. Because at the time, you have to understand, like I was I was making money, I was comfortable, I was dope, but I was in my moments. That album was was very big on reflection of, I come from a really, really fucked up place, you know, and I've worked really hard to be in a really good place, you know. When you listen to that whole project, really that's my narrative. It's like, you know, I come from even glasses to the ceiling. Put your glasses to the ceiling. We in the building. We here to celebrate the life that we've been living. Put your glasses to the ceiling. It's like, yo, when you listen to those raps, it's like, yo, it's like a guy who couldn't believe he made it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, after all the bullshit.
Yeah.
So I take this beat, and then when I don't know if I wrote the verses first or not, but the original plan was to always have Morafe as a feature on the song. I wanted a Coolie verse. I wanted a Coolie and Tony Mac verse with a KG hook.
Okay.
So I always wanted to feature Morafe. Morafe was very famous at the time.
Back then, my
Coolie
2000, if you don't know it, please Google it.
Coolie was moving hard as well. It was impossible.
Yeah.
Then the idea was, okay, fine, let me get the part for Coolie. Then Coolie said, dog, send this beat to KG, send this beat to Tody and ask him to write the hook. And then I'll come and do it. I sent the song to Tody. Tody wrote the hook. So that hook, Tody Mac wrote that thing. Then Coolie was supposed to do it, but then Coolie couldn't make it because Coolie was fucking busy at the time.
Really busy.
If you remember,
Double
HP had just come back from the Daraji walk. So if you remember, there was a time when WHP took a walk through Africa after he won that Strictly Come Dancing. Yeah.
Oh, after Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah. He took all that money, and my friend was too famous and he was too overwhelmed, and he said,
I'm out of here.
I will learn about the bigger cause of life. Literally like 2 weeks or a week when he came back. When Coolie couldn't make it, I said, yo, Jabba's back. Let's call Jabba. He said, cool. I called Jabba. Jabba was there the next day. He said, the part is already there. Because I already sent it to him. He said, fuck, it's already there, dog. I love it. I love what Tody wrote. Like, yo, if you're not gonna change it. Yo, Tody must say, Pampanaga, yo, must say, but the thing, you know. So my boy comes and he literally sings exactly what Coolie was supposed to do. He does it exactly the way it was supposed to be done. Fucks off. He says, call me for the video. You know? Let me tell you, that was probably like my hardest song to playlist in South Africa.
Sheesh.
Because when I sent that song to radio, they said it's not radio enough. And I actually remember it created a fight between me and Metro. Like I didn't get my songs played on Metro for a while because I then went on Twitter and I had a rant. I was like, dog, I send you guys all this other, you know, bullshit, right? You guys want to play that, and this is a meaningful song that people are connecting with. People like this song, and this song could actually be dope. If this song blew up, it could actually be a positive thing. Even if you guys make it blow up for like 2 months, it's fine. You don't have to give me the 6-month hit record run. Yeah. 2 months hit record run. You know what I mean? Like, you're telling me this song is not good enough for that, you know? So, me being who I was at the time, I went on radio. I said, yo, these niggas don't want to play my song because it's too deep. And I feel like this song is what the people need to hear and what the people need to be talking about. You understand what I'm saying? And that created an awkward situation for a while. I actually had to go back to Metro and sit down with Metro and apologize for that.
It was bad.
Their whole thing was, bro, it's okay for you to not agree.
Yeah, but why mind Twitter?
Yeah.
It's a fight between us.
If you have a concern, you could have come back here and escalated it with us and had this conversation with us. And because when you send us terrible songs, you don't see us going on social media
and say, now we're okay.
how dare you send us
That's a
this
terrible
song when you're
song.
sending YFM that song and you're sending, you know. But anyway, yeah, that song had a very interesting journey. At the end of it, I actually had wished I did what that other kid had done.
But do you think the industry has been nice to you?
Nice. Nice. What do you mean nice?
Nice. Do you think you're getting your flowers? Do you think you're getting recognized? Or do you not care?
Yeah, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, do I think that?
I'm at work, you know.
Yeah.
That's actually my thing. A lot of the time I don't even know if I've got time to smell those flowers right now. If you were to give me flowers, I don't think I would have time to smell those flowers. We are in mid-interview and I literally check the time.
Because,
it's
time is money as well. You ain't
It's
got
bad.
more time.
It's bad. Honestly, the other reality is it would be silly to go into this industry expecting it to appreciate you. I see a lot of my colleagues and a lot of my friends become very destructive and slightly a bit volatile because, you know, feeling unappreciated, you know. And you know, I'm so glad when I came into the game, I came into the circle of people that I came in with, you know. You know, that era of rap, you know, that had, you know, Optical Illusions, Zubz, Double HP, you know, Squatter Camp, Tumi. Like, I came into an era of hip hop that really seeks no validation, you know.
The work speaks for itself.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I'm immune to those things. You know, I don't generally. I sometimes I don't want people to know I did certain things. You know,
I mean, I was gonna ask you about you writing music for certain people,
there's
and I'm
certain
like,
things-
now I get it.
There's certain things I'm just like, there's no need. You
Yeah.
know, yes, there's a need for everybody in my industry to know. See, in my industry,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
But
in my
not
industry,
the whole world.
But like out there, it's like, and when they do know, I feel like I'm gonna deny it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm not walking around saying, hey, do you
Jonah,
know what I wrote?
Omametsi, this.
Yeah, what a long
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? Because
And I've heard so many because T-Bang always tells us, like, I want to pina ile mangwang, pina. And I'm like, what? Kisizwe. I'm
Wang
T-Bang.
expose.
I'll expose that on T-Bang.
Wang expose.
And so he was doing the walk. When was it? When were we at his place on Monday? Yeah. He was showing us, yeah, this guy will like, play it again. Play the beat again. Play it again. Then like, okay, sharp. Get phone. You walk outside and you just walking around. Get up putting straight. Done. And then, because with me, I'm like, okay, fine. I understand when you're writing for yourself.
Yeah.
But writing for other people as well must be a bit challenging. Because a personality as well. It's not just Motunje. You know, you need to know, this person would never say these words. Or they'd never...
Can I please?
No.
Inside.
Inside the vele.
We got sticks.
Okay, fine. Ooh,
Man.
so he was telling me, Hore, you will literally write for one person in the morning, and then 2 hours later you're writing for someone else who's different, totally different. But you'd swear that song is getting Otsukimoto, and I'm like, how does he do it?
I would lie. Actually, now that you explain it, I sound like a machine. I sound like a machine.
Because I don't know, I'll just play it again.
We're literally
Play it
doing
again.
that today. When I leave here, I've got a session.
Well, today I'm gonna have first-hand experience.
Yeah, I've got a session with Nay, then I got another session with Tumi. But anyway. You know what the thing about it is? At some point, you know, I actually learned it the hard way. It's very unfortunate that I stumbled upon something that is pretty much become my bread and butter and become my niche in a very painful way, right? There's this thing that happens in the industry when a brand declines, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the music industry specifically. You know, if you think about anybody who was a great rapper at any time and now they're not a great rapper, ask yourself, you know, do you remember the time when they started to decline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there comes a time where you experience a decline. I think as the Reason brand, there was a time when I would experience a decline. But my concern was not necessarily the decline. My concern was how, when these songs are so good, because by that time I really, really had gotten to a place where like I know a good song when I hear it. Like when I listen to Azania as an album, I'm like, I know a good song, you know, and I dropped these songs, you know, but I didn't have the same effect, because it's like it doesn't matter if Talib Kweli has a great song right now.
Yeah.
He's in a place where there's no space for either what he has or what he wants to do, what he has to offer. And as artists, you know, you have to go through that. I'm able to say that I've gone through that because I'm going through this thing. I've come back as a rebrand.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the few people who can have this conversation and say to you, no, trust me. A lot of people, even right now, when people are shivering and quivering saying hip hop is dead, no. They're just watching certain artists go through that decline, which is it's unavoidable.
Everyone
it's
goes.
inevitable.
Everyone goes through that.
That decline will happen. You know what I mean? There came a time when Speakery had to get phased out of. It's part of the business. It's part of what we do. And when I was going through that, I was then bothered about what am I going to do with this fucking great song? Because I'm still able to write a great song. I'm still able to write a great verse. I'm still able to produce
However, you're just in a dip right now.
I'm not the right brand to release that music. So having to go and say, if I wrote something, you know, if Blanco rapped this, it would sound dope.
Yeah.
You start getting to that place where you start looking at songs with other people's faces and other people's emotions. Then you go back and you think, shit, I came into the game doing this. When I was doing Jingles, I was rapping about Fresh and Tato. I wasn't rapping about me.
Yeah.
I wasn't flossing about me. I was flossing about their show, how cool their show is, and how much better they are than other people. And I was using current affairs to resell and repackage that shit. So I kind of got taught early to take myself out of a song, or take myself out of.
Don't make it personal.
No, don't make it about you. You know, I learned very early to be able to not make it about me. And even on the come up, every now and then, there was a lot of producers that were good producers, but they weren't good rappers. So you'd have to write a verse for them, you know. Or sometimes you record a song and then the producer says, I died. Second verse le is a shower. You understand?
Yeah.
So then you start to understand, oh shit, you know, I can place different voices to different verses. You know, so I started looking at it like that. And at a time when our business was really not doing well, that's when Bash started coming with clients who needed us to write songs for them. You know? And we started writing songs for artists, and that's where it started picking up. So in the industry, we'd be like, how did she write a song like that? Or how did he write a song like that?
Especially these piano ones, and I'm like...
And then the word gets out, I said, no, that's that's that guy over there, that guy didn't call that guy, you know? It started from a very fucked up place.
Yeah.
But in time it became a skill. It's like, you know, in the last 5 years probably we've developed the skill of embodying other people and creating content for them in the face of them. It's almost like writing a script. Really. You know, it's like we're directors, you know, and that's how I treat it. I'm treating my whole business like a production company, but for musicians. Yeah. You know, say, hey, you're just the actor in it,
and that's that.
But here's the script. Here's what you have to say. You can say it in your own words, but this is what you need to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. it's become easier. It's become much more fun. And what's cool though is when you start showing these young boys and these guys on the come up and some of these kids who think they are gonna be mega stars, because the reality of all of them is they're not gonna be mega stars. Not all of them.
Yeah.
Not all of you are gonna make it. But when you start making them realize like your song is great for you, but it's bigger for someone else. Because now we're talking about publishing. We're talking about forever, man.
Yeah. Gotta think about that as well.
The bigger this artist grows, the bigger this song grows in someone else's
The more
hands,
money you make.
The more money you make. How much money would you have really made if you dropped the song? Would you have really made it the song as big as this?
Probably not.
And is that not Drake's fight also? Because here's the other chat is, for you to be the guy or Obamwalang who executes it, people don't realize that's a skill too. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can take a verse from Reason and rap it and give it life and change it and edit my shit. They do.
Yeah.
They're that involved. They're able to say, I think you can say this better. I wouldn't have said that. I would have said this. That's when you get to realize, sorry, skill comes from also knowing like what's gonna work. This is gonna work.
And not just take it as it is.
Because you have to then turn to me and say, this is not gonna work. I've done like 10 of these that smashed, but you still have to have the skill to say this one won't. We need something else. You know. So Drake's argument will always be, okay, sharp. If lere star Kim Tong Ting Pina na star. Mponseng Pina ta height. I didn't
that blew up.
There you go.
On that note, let's go blow up some studios. I wanna hear you. Give us over that thing tabang naibon. The pacing. Guys, okay, can we promise people as part 2? Because you have a lot of stories to tell. And I love that. And these are not just random. There's gonna be lots of Savannah, don't worry.
And we only spoke about Reason. We didn't even touch.
We haven't spoken about Alakai. So the next time you see this,
that is true.
It's like we're going to see Alakai. Guys, this is 80 and Lifestyle with Sanati, brought to you by Audionomics Entertainment. And we are out. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know why I have to go be a father.